So this is happening.
You are now the amazing Captain Underpants! Tra-la-la!
Oh my god, this is really happening. Captain Underpants. Captain Underpants. Captain Tra-la-la-la-la-la-la-la Underpants. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages, my name is David Popovich, aka the Bookworm, and welcome to Bookworm Reviews. Sit back and relax as we dive into The Adventures of Captain Underpants, the first epic novel by Dave Palinki about why it's okay to be immature. Now this is a serious flashback for me. This book is silly. This book is absurd. This book is the class clown of children's books. Captain Underpants will always be a weird series to me. Published in 1997, my god, this book is 20 years old. It became a smash hit, becoming the crown jewel in Dave Palinki's long career as a children's book author with multiple sequels and spin-offs. I remember reading the series as a kid. My sister liked to collect them. I think we got up to about book 5 if I remember, and looking back at the first adventure, it's interesting. The story follows the lives of 4th graders George Beard and Harold Hutchins, and they are troublemakers. Well, the book doesn't say that. It's just that George and Harold each had a silly streak a mile long. Usually that silly streak was hard to control. Sometimes it got them into trouble, and once it got them into big trouble. The two boys love pulling pranks, telling silly jokes, and most of all, making comic books. Their passion in life is creating stories that make people laugh, and their greatest creation being the one and only Captain Underpants. As explained here, it was a time of darkness and despair for planet Earth. Bad guys have taken over the streets, and all the superheroes in the world were too old to fight. Hey, ha ha! Then along came a new, improved, extra-strength superhero. Tra-la-la! Look, up in the sky! It's a bird! It's a brain! It's an egg salad sandwich. No way! I'm Captain Underpants! Captain Underpants is faster than a speeding waistband, more powerful than boxer shorts, and able to leap tall buildings without getting a wedgie. Tra-la-la! Night and day, Captain Underpants watched over the city, fighting for truth, justice, and all that is pre-shrunk and cottony. The kids love George and Harold's stories, but there is one man who doesn't. One man whose only goal in life is to make everything and everyone miserable. Mr. Crump. Now, Mr. Crump was the meanest, sourest old principal in the whole school of Jerome Horowitz Elementary School. He hated laughter and singing. He hated the sounds of children playing at recess. In fact, he hated children altogether. And guess which two children Mr. Crump hated most of all? Yep, and nothing will bring him more joy than seeing George and Harold suffer. You know, he said, ever since you boys came to the school, it's been one prank after another. First you put disinfected frogs in the jello salad at the parent-teacher banquet. Then you made it snow in the cafeteria. Then you rigged all the intercoms so they played Weird Al Yankovic songs full blast for 6 hours straight. Okay, I can understand the frogs and the snow, but your life must suck if you can't find any joy in a Yankovic song. Mr. Crump's dream, though, becomes a reality when, after a prank-filled football game, the boys learn Mr. Crump recorded their activities and threatened to reveal them to the football team unless they follow his rules. The boys, though, have a plan in the silliest way you can think of. It was an old magazine ad for the 3D Hypno Ring. How's this going to help us? Asked Harold. All we gotta do is hypnotize Mr. Crump, said George. We'll make him give us the video and forget this whole mess ever happened. That's a great idea, said Harold, and the best part is we only have to wait 4 to 6 weeks for delivery. Now, you would think a hypno ring from a comic ad wouldn't work, but this book proves logic is taking a long holiday as they hypnotize Mr. Crump and have fun making him do silly things. That is until they make note that Crump reminds them of a certain comic book character, and with a simple snap, Captain Underpants comes to life. All for fun and games till... Hey, George cried. Where'd he go? George and Harold dashed to the window and looked out. There, running across the parking lot, was a pudgy old guy in his underwear with a red cape flowing behind him. Well, when you say it like that, it almost sounds ridiculous. He's probably running off to fight crime, said George. Oh no, said Harold. And we gotta stop him, said George. Oh no, cried Harold. No way. Look, said George, he could get killed out there. Harold was unmoved. Or worse, said George, we could get into big trouble. You're right, said Harold. We gotta go after him. And that's the premise of the book. The boys try to get Captain Underpants back before he hurts himself, only to get roped into a bigger adventure along the way that includes robots, world domination, doggy doo-doo, and a tiny man in a diaper. No, I am not under the influence. The book itself is fine. It's fine. A silly book for young kids to enjoy. It's not hard to see this is a lampoon about superheroes. Just look at that first panel of Captain Underpants' origin. Look familiar? Even the title is a clear mock of how silly hero costumes are. The book lampshades itself a lot and has fun doing it. Really, the interesting stuff about the book isn't really in the book itself, but the author. Dave Pilkey actually started working on the character when he was in elementary school, which explains a lot. He was the class clown and got kicked out of class a lot for disrupting the teacher. The guy loved making silly stories that made people laugh, but most of the adults in his life believe he would go nowhere with his silly books. But look where he is now. Now schools use his books to get kids interested in reading. How about that? And the book does what it sets out to do. Give children a reason to read and show that it's okay to be a little immature. When I think about it, Captain Underpants falls under the same line as Goosebumps, in that they use an unusual concept to get kids to read. Goosebumps used horror, while Captain Underpants used absurd humor. Heck, I wouldn't be surprised if most kids got the book just to mess with their parents, cause why would you read a book about a pig, a dog, a mouse, when you can read about a guy fighting crime in underwear? Plus, let's face it, we all know it, when you're a little kid, underwear is the funniest thing in the world. You know, the book has its own charm. It always has its tongue in the cheek while constantly winking at the audience. It's immature, but in the fun way. Never too crude or rude, but silly enough to make you laugh. The illustrations by Pilkey himself that fill the entire book are fun as he goes from picture book to comic book to even flip-o-rama to always keep you interested with fun, silly ideas. Really, the fact that such a silly idea took off is something to behold. When the book was first published, it was titled simply as an epic novel. That changed once they knew they had a hit, even though I wouldn't be surprised that most people thought the idea would go nowhere. And now there's a movie.
Captain Underpants, you can't actually fly!
I take to the sky like an ostrich!
Wow.
It's good to be immature sometimes. What about you, Internet? What are your thoughts about Captain Underpants? Did you read it as a child? Do you think it's okay to be immature once in a while? Let me know in the comments below, and leave a like if you enjoyed the video. Well, since June is Pride Month, we will celebrate it in the only way I can, with furries. Till next time, like, share, and discuss, and have a nice day.